cool and clear here in Chicago as the Cubs return from a rough weekend in St. Louis. They look to end a season-long 5-game losing streak as they welcome in the Miami Marlins. It's the first of a 3-game series. Welcome to Cubs baseball here on NBC Sports Chicago. Jim DeShays and Len Casper. Cubs pitched well over the weekend, just couldn't get the big hit at the right time.
Yeah, and that's been the story for the better part of 2 weeks now. This club really continues to struggle offensively. In St. Louis, the bullpen broke down a little bit. That had been such a strong part of the club. The good news is they have 2 last-place clubs coming to town. The bad news is the first one, the Marlins are playing really good baseball right now.
Let's get into the starting pitching matchup. You could use some length out of Kyle Hendricks tonight with the long extra inning game last night.
And he provided that last time out against the Rockies. 7 2/3 inning, the longest a Cubs starter has gotten this year. He allowed 4 hits. Unfortunately for him, 3 of them were solo home runs, but still a solid effort from Kyle. Jarlene Garcia, what a story this kid has been. He's got a 1.09 ERA, tops in Major League Baseball.
So the professor will take the ball tonight. Pitched really well in a no decision in his first start of the year in Miami. Cubs have made some roster moves. More on that. We have Cubs baseball from Wrigley Field coming up next.
Chicago is brought to you in part by Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. Ford, who invites you to go further in their fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out our entire lineup at your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. Menards, save big money at Menards.
He is ready for Cubs baseball. Wouldn't it be great to have his energy for just one day?
Little dude is fired up.
Well, we just found out a few minutes ago, Yu Darvish is going to the disabled list. He was originally scheduled to start Game 2 tomorrow night, but the Cubs have placed him on the 10-day disabled list with a para-influenza virus. And the Cubs will make a corresponding roster move prior to tomorrow's game. They also made a bullpen move earlier today. Corey Mazzoni has joined the Cubs bullpen, and right-hander Luke Farrell has been optioned to AAA Iowa. Let's check out the Miami Marlins starting lineup that will face Kyle Hendricks tonight. JT Realmuto and Martin Prado did not play in that season opening series against the Cubs in Miami. They were both on the DL. Starlin Castro off to a good start. Recently hit his 100th career homer. Justin Bour came up through the Cubs system. Brian Anderson did not, but he's in right. Derek Dietrich in left. Cameron Maben spelling Lewis Brinson in center. Miguel Rojas the shortstop, and Harlan Garcia the pitcher will bat ninth.
Here are the Cubs defensively this evening. Ian Happ plays left field. Albert Almora Jr. center. Ben Zobrist will play right tonight. Bryant and Russell on the left side of the infield. Baez second. Victor Caratini will spell Anthony Rizzo at first. This is Victor's 5th start at first base. Wilson Contreras is behind the plate tonight. And our Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher is Mr. Kyle Hendricks. Through 6 starts, he's 2 up, 2 down with a 3.19 earned run average. He's been very good against the Marlins in his career. 1.35 ERA through 5 starts. His last 4 starts against the Fish, 2-0 with an 0.33. That's 1 earned run in 27 1/3 innings of work.
Lance Barksdale is a home plate umpire. Will Little at first. The crew chief Ted Barrett at second. Nick Lentz is over at third. Clear skies, cool temperatures, and the Cubs and the Marlins matching up for the 5th time. They split a 4-game series to start the year in Miami, and we're underway.
Fish were banged up the first time the Cubs saw them at the start of the year. Realmuto included. Their fine catcher, now batting leadoff, was out of action with a bad back.
Martin Prado on deck, was recovering from knee surgery. Realmuto missed the first 16 games. Waits on a 2-0, and that's in the dirt. 3 balls and no strikes. Cubs 16 and 15, 4th place in the Central. 3.5 back of first place St. Louis. The Marlins are 13 and 20, and are playing good baseball after a really slow start. They're in last in what has been a very competitive National League East. The other 4 teams are all over 500.
Marlins 8-3 their last 11 ball games. They've won their last 4 series.
There's a high drive, pretty well hit on the warning track. It's caught by the Miami native Albert Almora Jr. for the first out. Good comeback by Hendricks, and the wind should help the pitchers a little bit, although the wind, I'm not quite sure what it's doing. Right now it's southeast wind at 5 miles an hour, but kind of blowing in from right at times as well. 61 degrees as we get started. I think the term they use in meteorology is variable.
Variable. I got pretty good carry on my baseball card today when I flipped it out of the booth, so it didn't get knocked down like I anticipated.
The veteran Martin Prado missed the first 24 games due to injury. 1 ball and 1 strike on him.
Yeah, and whereas Realmuto, when he got back, just took off. He's hitting all but 2 games. Realmuto. Prado has struggled, batting just $1.52.
Just off the outside edge. And a fastball at 87. 2 balls and a strike. Hendricks works quickly. And a foul to make it 2-2. So the Cubs won 5 in a row. They've now lost 5 straight. If you look at their pitching during this stretch, during the 5-game winning streak, it was 0.20. But during the losing streak, 4.07, which isn't that bad. Line drive caught by Zobrist. 2 well-hit balls for outs to start the ball game.
Yeah, what they did there for a stretch was obviously unsustainable, and come back to earth a little bit. Just need to get a little help from the bats and things will be fine.
Here's the former Cub Starlin Castro. 1 home run that came on Saturday in Cincinnati, the 100th of his career. As Indiana native Don Mattingly looks on.
Fastball had a little cutting action to it. Typically you see sinkers from Kyle, occasionally a four-seamer, changeup and a curve.
Has always pitched well against the Marlins. He started that 17-inning game in the second game of the season. Now time for Lowe's whole team together. National League top ERA leaders among rotations since April 22nd. The Marlins are #1, the Cubs #2. And the Cubs just saw the Rockies and the Cardinals.
Hendricks has been on a good roll here. John Lester, last handful of starts, really good stuff.
Another 1-2. Line drive, and it'll be Zobrist leaving his feet. So the Marlins go 1-2-3. Pretty good contact, but all for outs, and the Cubs are coming up against a left-hander off to a great start. Harlan Garcia when we come back. Back in the leadoff spot against the left-hander tonight. Zobrist in right. Chris Bryant hit a long home run in St. Louis early in the ballgame last night. Javier Baez has homered in 2 straight. Contreras moves down from 1 to 5 tonight. Caratini in for Anthony Rizzo. Addison Russell, the shortstop. Ian Happ in left. And the pitcher Kyle Hendricks batting 9th.
The Fish defensively, Dietrich plays left tonight. Cameron Maben is in center. Brian Anderson right. Prado, the veteran, at third. Rojas can really pick it. He's the shortstop. Castro and Bohr on the right side of the infield. JT Real Muto very good behind the plate. Lexus Experience, amazing starting pitcher. Jarlin Garcia, man, what a story he has been for Miami with that Major League best 109 ERA as a starter, and he's made 4 starts plus a couple of appearances out of the pen. As a starter, his earned run average 0.78.
2 quick ones on Albert.
So it's first in ERA, first in batting average against, 136. Lowest slugging percentage against. Left-handed batters are hitting .095 against him. That's why Joe's leaning all to the right here tonight.
Working from the stretch. 1-2. The leadoff man is presented by Benny's Beverage Depot. If Almora, it's a 2-strike hit here, Benny's will donate $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. And after the high one, and that'll get back out of play.
First starts of a career since 1980. Who's been better than this guy? Well, just a handful. Davies, Leach, Maeda, and the great Fernando Valenzuela. Pitched 8 shutouts his rookie year.
Aired to right. That is Brian Anderson out there, and he's got it for the first out.
So I told you the what. Now how about the why for Garcia? Why has he been so good? It's hard to really pin down. His strikeout rate is below league average. His walk rate is higher than league average. He has the lowest first strike percentage in all of Major League Baseball.
Have you really been explaining why? You're almost explaining why not.
Yeah, why? Well, yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, it is why not.
So how has he done it?
Yeah. Well, because I was going to get around to that. The why is don't want to diminish what the kid has done, but he's been, you got to believe he's been kind of lucky. A batting average of balls in play 151. That's got to neutralize some, right? Left on base percentage 95%. So that's the number of guys he leaves on at the end of an inning throughout his time on the mound.
I want to say
70, 72 is about league, and just about everybody ultimately will fall within close proximity to that.
And of course, the disclaimer on that is he may continue to do what he's done tonight. But you're talking big picture, it's unsustainable.
Those you would
numbers.
think. These numbers I'm talking about are kind of predictive of what is likely to happen going forward. But you can't argue with the results that he has posted to this point. It's been unbelievable.
Zobrist takes the walk, and it will bring up Chris Bryant. Good to see green leaves on the trees. And we're seeing a little more green on the walls as well. Bryant hit his 4th homer of the season last night. And takes a fastball on the inside corner. Second game of the season against the Cubs. Garcia pitched 6 shutout frames, all in extra innings. That's when he and Eddie Butler were dueling. He gave up just 1 hit as the Marlins won that game 2-1 in 17. 2 appearances later in his first major league start, 6 no-hit innings against the Mets before he got pulled due to his pitch count. In the next start, he no-hit the Yankees at Yankee Stadium through the first 4 innings, so he tied the major league record for no-hit innings as a starter to begin a career at 10 with Bobo Holloman.
Bobo Holloman, I think, only made a couple of starts. He threw a no-hitter in his first big league start, and I don't know that he made many more after that. Bobo didn't always make the best life decisions.
There's a 1-2. Bryant with a towering blast to left. Gone, and the Cubs lead 2-0.
Well, there's a little aggression to the mean. And power stroke starting to manifest itself here for Chris Bryant of late. That was a beautiful swing of the bat. When look like they're trying to get in on him a little bit. It's up above the belt. The forward home run replay. Come on, yeah, it'll come down sooner or later, guys. Hang in there.
Nice grab by that fan near the back of the bleachers. And for Chris, that is his 99th Major League home run. A lot of guys right around 100. I mentioned Castro a couple of days ago. Matt Carpenter, Dexter Fowler, Jed Jerko, all within the last week. And when Bryant hits his next one, he'll be at 100 for his career. One and one on Javier Baez.
It's a 3-pitch mix for Garcia. Fastball, change, and slider. .6'3", 220, 25 years old.
Baez sitting in a favorable count. Sharply hit roller right at Prado. Throw across the infield for out number 2. I think this speaks to where we are in the game. This note says it all. Don Mattingly is in his 3rd season as the Marlins manager. Did you know that every year he has been with Miami, starting in 2016, he's pulled a starting pitcher during a no-hitter? Adam Conley 2016, Wei-Yin Chin last year, and Garcia earlier this year. I mean, it's become almost common to have guys reach their pitch count in the 6th or 7th, and they get pulled at having allowed no hits. That never happened in previous decades. Another ball hit well, deep center, but it'll be caught. Gather your thoughts. I'll let you comment.
They're killing the no-no. They're going to kill the no-no.
Chris Bryant making sure there's no no-hitter tonight. And the Cubs lead 2-0 after an inning.
Welcome back here to Wrigley Field with this Miller Lite game report. Kris Bryant with his 5th home run of the year, a 2-run shot to put the Cubs in front here early. And back in the good old days of Little League, that would have earned Kris Bryant $20 from his grandparents. And the story goes, he was playing with 10-year-olds, and his dad, coaching the team, said, hey, whoever goes deep, I'll give you $100. And Kris said, of course, it was one of his teammates that went deep, and he started bawling, crying his eyes out. 2 weeks later, he goes deep. Dad gives him $100, and the grandparents, his grandparents, say, well, if that's all it takes, Kris, we'll pay you $20 every time you hit a home run. And that's where it all started, guys. But he did get $100 if he got a straight A report card. So certainly academics, very important in the Bryant household as well, but it's paying off these days, right?
Well, what I take out of that, thank you, Kelly, is Justin Bohr takes low, is that he was a terrible negotiator. He got $100 for a home run, and then it became 20. Well, he made a lot of money tonight as a big leaguer, so he's doing fine.
It's a good thing that story didn't come to light back then. He would have lost his amateur status.
Right.
It's good to negotiate that incentive clause early in your career.
Here's a 2-1. Bohr swings and misses on a changeup from Kyle. That home run, the first in the last 14 hit by the Cubs with a man on base. He had 13 consecutive solos. Bohr deep to right and caught by Zobrist, who's had a busy start to this one.
A screamer off the bat of Justin Bohr. He's a strong man. He really hit that ball sharply. Zobrist was well positioned, very deep to begin with. Got a nice break on this one.
So the Marlins, I think, are winning the exit velocity battle here early on, but they don't have a hit. And it's Brian Anderson. We saw him playing third base in the opening series of this season with Prado on the DL. He's in right this evening. And he had a real good series that weekend, 6 for 18 plus 3 walks and knocked in 5 runs. Leads all major league rookies with 31 hits. A wind and a 1-1 swing and a miss on a change.
Well, cut change gets the swing and miss. Aspect of Kyle's game that's been a little unsettling is the home runs allowed. He's allowed 8 long balls already this year.
2 down.
I suspect that'll start to normalize a little bit too. He allowed 17 all of last year. He just made a few mistakes up in the zone. It has cost him, but been aggressive, now walking people, doing what he normally does. Came into this one with a 3.19 earned run average.
One strike on Derek Dietrich. In left field, batting 6th.
The Marlins bottomed out at 5-17. Winners of 8 of 11. Again, it's mostly been their pitching, but the last couple of days, pretty big days offensively in Cincinnati.
Caratini with the late adjustment to get back to the bag. So Kyle Hendricks getting some quick outs. Cubs back in the dugout leading 2-0.
But killing the no-no. Authentic's a fan night. It'll be tomorrow here at Wrigley. Watch the Cubs take on the Marlins. Visit the Authentic fan booth inside the Gallagher Way gate and grab a free t-shirt while supplies last.
Switch batting Victor Caratini, making his 10th start and his 5th at first base. Bounds it foul to third. 2-0 Cubs, second inning. So finishing up the Don Mattingly having to pull guys in no-hitter topic. It's not even particularly controversial anymore. The Dodgers with a combined no-hitter in Mexico against the Padres over the weekend. If anything, I think it's turned in the other direction. If a manager let especially a young pitcher throw over 130 pitches with a no-hitter, as that ball almost decapitated Garcia. And Victor's aboard with a leadoff single here in the second. I think most managers now get ripped for it more than praise.
Yeah, especially for, as you mentioned, young, high-ceiling arms. Wow, that was close. You got Charlie Brown there. The cutoff seems to be the 6th inning. If a guy gets through 7, now he's so close. I think there's a lot of pressure on a manager to kind of maybe let him go a little bit longer. But with the real young kids, 6 innings, hey, let's get you out of there so we don't have to deal with the drama.
Dave Roberts has done it a few times. He did it with Buehler last week. Rich Hill actually lost a no-hitter in extras, but he had previously pulled Hill in a no-hitter and Ross Stripling, I believe, a couple of years ago.
How about the game Scherzer had? So yesterday, the day before, he punched out 15 and 6 1/3.
Yeah.
He was on a Kerry Woodian type pace.
15 strikeouts and 6 1/3 in a no decision.
Yeah, it was the most strikeouts ever in a game, an outing of that length.
15 strikeouts and recorded 19 outs overall. It's fouled by Addison Russell, 1-2.
Struck out 7 in a row at one point. 12 consecutive outs recorded via the strikeout.
And Russell came to the big leagues in 2015. The Cubs had a shortstop, Starlin Castro. Eventually they swapped defensive positions. And Russell's been the Cubs' main shortstop since. Castro ended up going to the Yankees, now to the Marlins, and he's playing second. Called strike 3. Bottom of the zone, got him on a changeup.
Reminds me a little bit of Francisco Liriano with the changeup slider combinations. Pretty much the same speed with both those pitches. One tends to cut, the other one fades.
A strike to Ian Happ. Hitting over 290 right-handed, really struggling from the other side at 200. He's batting 8th and playing left. No Schwarber, no Hayward tonight. 0-2, good changeup.
Last year, Garcia worked out of the bullpen 68 times, had a 4.73 ERA. Now that he's working as a starter, he's throwing the changeup more often. And perhaps that's one of the reasons why he's been so good. Just good touch with that changeup.
Short lead by Caratini, and Happ strikes out. Changeup has been a good one here in the second inning for Garcia. And it's Kyle Hendricks with 2 outs. Friendly greeting with JT Realmuto. There's always a little more mutual respect, I think, between a pitcher and a hitter. After the hitter hits a ball really well, but it's caught on the warning track, so he's feeling good about the at bat, and the pitcher feels good because he got him out.
Yeah,
right.
I like to call a happy pitch. Everybody takes something away from it, feeling good.
So Kyle can say, JT, nice swing in the first inning, and Realmuto can go, yeah, 0 for 1. Way to get me out.
Yeah, if Realmuto hit it into the bleachers, there's no way Kyle's going, hey, good swing, man.
1-2 on him. John Lester had a nice night at the plate last night in St. Louis. He went 1 for 2 and flied to the warning track, and a ball off the bat I thought was a home run. Cubs got in real late or early, depending on your perspective. Most guys didn't hit the pillow until 4:30, 5 a.m. after a Sunday night 2 rain delay extra inning affair in St. Louis. Luckily, it was not a long flight. On the ground to the shortstop Rojas, and he'll feed it to Castro. They force Caratini, and that's it for the Cubs, who lead 2-0 after 2. Dedication, and nothing tops the experience of Cubs baseball live at Wrigley Field. So be a part of it all season long. Everybody in. Tickets are still available for the next 2 games against the Marlins. Get your tickets now at Cubs.com. Tonight, the Cubs battling Harlan, Starlin, and the Marlins. Leading 2-0 on Chris Bryant's first inning homer.
So are we good with Harlan, the Marlin? Because there were some reports that it was Harleen.
Yeah, I guess we're going with Harlan.
I mean, if I were him, I would tell everybody Harlan because it rhymes with Marlin. It's
absolutely.
He could brand that, Harlan the Marlin.
Veteran Cameron Maben playing center field tonight. Looks at a strike.
However, if he was Jarlene, he could get Dolly Parton to do a parody of Jolene.
You think he knows who Dolly Parton is?
I'm going to go with no.
Lewis Brinson gets a night off tonight. Swing and a miss. He got him. First strikeout for Hendricks. I mentioned the Darvish DL move. The Cubs also recalled right-hander Corey Mazzoni. We saw Corey quite a bit in spring training. Luke Farrell probably would have been optioned no matter what happened last night, just because the bullpen had been used a lot the last couple of days with extra innings, as he was trying to notch his first career save, but instead they gave up game-ending home runs on Saturday and Sunday.
Just a few days after getting his first big league win. This game can be cruel sometimes.
Rojas with the Marlins' first hit, an opposite field single, with Garcia coming up.
Rojas doesn't hit for a lot of power, more inclined to spray the ball around the diamond. Don Mattingly has a drop a bunt down here.
He has yet to lay down a successful sacrifice. And he's going to try. Well, he'll be successful as that'll go 1-3. And it puts Rojas in scoring position for Real Muto. I was looking at their batting game logs. The Marlins have played 33 games. 5 times they've been shut out. 5 times they've scored 1. 5 other times they've scored 2. So almost half of their games 2 runs or fewer. But 6 times, or rather 10 times, they've scored 6 runs or more. So they've been a little bit like the Cubs in the big output and then not doing a whole lot of anything.
And overall at or near the bottom just about every category offensively in the National League.
Last in home runs with 24. 29th in baseball in runs per game. Zobrist with another chance. He makes the grab. And a souvenir for that Cub fan, and that's it for the Marlins in the 3rd. They get their first hit, but no runs. Field coverage. Ben Zobrist is covering a lot of ground, getting the start in right field, and no doubt Kyle Hendricks appreciates it.
Yeah, and it's atypical with Hendricks out there. There's only been Aside from the sac bunt, one ground ball out, but a lot of outs in the air, and Zobrist has had a busy night already.
On the strike on South Florida native Albert Almora. Wilson Contreras hit leadoff last night. And it's Almora here tonight. Swing and a miss.
Albert, good numbers against left-handed pitching. .310 average, .375 on base, .586 slugging percentage. Reasons why the Cubs have been in this prolonged funk is just lack of patience. They're not taking walks, and not just the guys who normally don't walk, and even guys like Anthony Rizzo, who always draws a lot of walks. Big Riz has been pressing a little bit, maybe going outside of the zone. It's not a matter of chasing outside of the zone. It's just, you know, hitting borderline pitches, putting pitches in play where you can't do a whole lot of damage.
Yeah, you would expect by the end of the year the Cubs should be, I would say, in the top 3 in the league in walks, if not leading. That's kind of in their DNA. Nice sliding play by Rojas. Not a good throw, however, and Almora's safe at first. Good play by Bohr to keep that ball in play.
Rojas quickly to his feet. Accurate throw would have gotten the job done, but not an easy play. Heck of a play by Bohr, yeah. That's a wild Bohr.
I always go back to Bill Russell when he was doing NBA analysis with Dick Stockton. And the guy would block a shot, and he'd bat it 10 rows into the seats. He'd say, that's a half a play.
Block it and control
So
it.
you got to block it, and you got to get it. So in Rojas's case, he made a half a play. Real nice first part of it. But Almora, oh, that's a block. Now he had Garcia all tied up in knots as he just took off before even first movement, and Garcia clearly balked. But I got to tell you, this is one of the weird little quirks in baseball. That should just be a stolen base, right? You take it away from a guy who caused it.
Yeah. A forced error for sure. And yeah, you're always trying to anticipate first move from that left-hander.
So you get the bag, but you don't get the steal.
Well, what we need in this game is a new stop because we don't have enough. We need box induced. You got a BI.
Garcia just saved his catcher. He said, JT, I took one for the team. I didn't want a stolen base on your record, so I balked. Zobrist pulled the bat back and took ball 2.
Well, not a bad thought there with a man on second, nobody out, just to drop a bunt down to move him along. Now 2-0. I would think he'd be looking to do a little damage, try to drive this run in.
A reminder to Xfinity X1 customers, say show me the Chicago Cubs into your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1.
Maybe with the man on second base, maybe having some issues with the indicator, may have forgotten what they were going to use, or just want to make sure they're on the same page. And Rojas, the shortstop, in to make sure as well.
That's a base hit. Almora with a little hesitation to make sure the liner got through. And with nobody out, you're not going to push the envelope, so it's first and third. for Chris Bryant.
Yeah, I would imagine to a certain extent Albert's thinking safety first on balls like that now. He almost got caught in St. Louis the other day, picking off on a base hit to center field on a sinking line drive that was almost caught and would have been doubled off. Good work here, hesitates, reads it, and then goes. And we'll score him on that ball anyway. Well done.
Well, Bryant already with a 2-run homer. And he came into the game hitting over 400 against left-handed pitching, with an OPS up over 1,200.
Tried to go in. It was out over the plate and up. Most teams try to pound him hard in.
They will concede a run for a shot at a double play. They're trying to avoid a big inning. Already down 2-0. And it's 3-0. And Baez is batting cleanup tonight on deck. On the corner. And it's 3-1. Full count. Working the edges here to get back in it.
Good 3-1 change up there. Didn't want to give in with a heater. Probably when he threw this pitch, he was thinking more swing and miss than called strike, but right at the bottom of the knees. And you see Real Muto pulling it up a little bit, perhaps influencing Lance Barksdale.
He struck him out. That one looked low.
Yeah. Frustrating when you have a good disciplined at bat like that, and then you get rung up.
Strikeout number 3 for Garcia. Now it's Baez. And double play ball could get Garcia out of the inning. And you're looking for contact and hopefully something in the air to the outfield. They plan to pull in the outfield and on the infield. Looked like the Cubs got a win last night after Baez homered in the top of the 14th. Dexter Fowler hit a 2-run homer with 2 outs. And the Cardinals escaped with a 4-3 win and a series sweep. Game took 4 hours and 46 minutes, and that does not include 59 minutes of rain delays. One and one. A little grimace from Javi, whose back was bothering him a little bit last night.
Well, he aired it out here as he usually does with good changeup. Now that's John Daly like that swing.
Fly ball center field. Maben on the track. It's gone. He's homered in 3 consecutive games, and the Cubs lead 5-0.
An old saying in this game, nothing wrong with swinging hard if you're swinging at strikes. Took a big swing at the changeup and missed, but it wasn't a bad pitch, and then another big swing and boom. Dead central for number 10. There's your Ford home run replay.
Give me a PGA golfer who hits every fairway.
The guy is right. I can't.
Okay.
Probably. I'm going to give you one here in a minute.
All right.
It's right at the top of my tongue. Zach Johnson.
Zach Johnson. All right. Well, he was John Daly, and then he was Zach Johnson. It didn't quite work because I was expecting a little quicker answer, but thanks anyway. Was Freddie Couples pretty good?
Dave Turner.
Yeah, I was going to drop a Freddie Couples, but I wasn't sure. Remember my note from the weekend: when you get a 3-run homer, teams win at about an 80% clip.
Garcia has allowed more runs tonight than he had allowed in aggregate coming into this start. Some of that regression we predicted. Well, predicted. The numbers predicted it.
Yep. 2-2 on Contreras. And the count will hold. Over 20 pitches in 2 different innings.
Think about Javi, though, if to continue the golf analogy, he's not pulling out an iron to hit the fairway. He's still swinging that driver.
You're right. A bouncer to third, backhanded by Prado. Hey, as you enjoy Miller Lite, look forward to the Hold True moment later in tonight's game. A couple of early options. As Bryant and Baez have both homered. Oh, 1 to Caratini. And 1 to count. First of 3. Night game tomorrow. Matinee on Wednesday. Jose Urena, their opening day starter, will go for the Marlins tomorrow. Cubs to be announced, with Yu Darvish going to the DL. Cubs lead 5-0. The home run ball has been huge tonight. Baez the latest. He's in the double digits. Number 10. This going back, Starlin Castro! A 3-run homer! Welcome to the big leagues. 3-2 to Castro. Left center. He's going to knock in at least 2 more. Solo coming in. Castro on his way to third. A 3-run triple. Yeah, it was on this date, 2010. It was history. 6 RBIs in a big league debut for Starlin Castro, and pretty cool that he hit his 100th over the weekend in that same ballpark. And Starlin is on deck.
A nice series here last year with the Yankees. Had a good series to start the season down in Miami against the Cubs.
Well, the word comfortable makes some people squeamish, but 5-0 with Kyle Hendricks pitching well here early on. You'd like to think it's comfortable. I guess it is until it isn't. As Bryant will throw to first to get Prado. Clark's Crew is the official kids club of the Chicago Cubs. Team up with Clark as a member of his crew and receive kid-specific perks, events, experiences, and merchandise. Clark's Crew members even receive priority access to Kids Sunday's Run the Bases. Visit Cubs.com/kids to sign up your young Cubs so they can be a part of the fun all season long. Castro chops to Russell.
Perhaps now finding that ground ball groove. This club, the Marlins, is a team, they hit the ball on the ground a lot. Starlins usually near the top of the league, the lead in that department. So yeah, I would say comfortable with Hendricks on the mound in a 5-run lead against this lineup that doesn't have a lot of firepower. And as you said right at the outset, it would be good to get some length out of him here tonight. Save that tired bullpen.
A strike on Bohr. In line to right in the first inning. 2 for 15 this season against Cubs pitching. Burley first baseman, and he fouls out of play.
You know, that first pitch he threw in that sequence, and it speaks to how good he is and how smart they have gotten in the game, and the Cubs in particular, about attacking it. Contreras just called for an elevated inside changeup, and Hendricks executed it. I mean, that's something that was never done in the past. I mean, it's the idea of throwing a high changeup on purpose.
He wants a change, but he wants it low, and man, did he execute?
Yeah,
I think we'll do a pitch sequence a little later. You up for that?
That was brilliant.
5-0. The professor doing his thing.
Evening cooling off here for the Cubs and the Marlins, but it was the perfect temperature this weekend for the annual Race to Wrigley 5K that goes right here through the Lakeview neighborhood. This hosted by Cubs Charities, and over 8,500 runners participated in this race, which raised more than $535,000 for Cubs Charities. And in the 13 years the Race to Wrigley, it has raised more than $2.5 million for Chicago's kids. Proceeds from the race will benefit Cubs Charities, which provides increased access to sports opportunities and targets improvements in health, fitness, and education for those at risk. Guys.
Thank you, Kelly. That's always a great event. Already 13 races in the books. And Michael Frano and all the wonderful community affairs folks with the Cubs. Thanks to you, Stephanie, Chloe, Carrie, Brittany, Allison. Well done. One and two the count to Addison Russell, who struck out looking in the second inning. Cubs have hit 2 home runs tonight and lead 5-0. So far, Kyle Hendricks has been just what the doctor ordered. As JD mentioned, with a tired bullpen, he's been efficient. A little wide, it's 3-2. And they've gotten to a guy offensively who had a 0.78 ERA in 4 starts prior to tonight. That will be foul, the third.
Are you familiar with the name P.J. Conlon?
I know he's making his big league debut tonight, but that's all I know.
He was born in Ireland. He's the first Irish-born player to play in the big leagues in 70 years. And he got a hit.
Pitching for the Mets.
I don't know if he's pitching or is he a pitcher. I thought he was a position player. Well, he is a pitcher. And he also got a hit.
There you go.
He can do it all.
Russell draws the walk to lead off the Cubs' fourth.
That's what we were talking about earlier. There's the not been patient. Now they get this 5-run cushion that allows everybody to relax. Just go up there and work a good at bat. Yeah, the pitching part of it didn't go quite as well for Conlon. 3 2/3, 4 hits, 3 runs allowed. He's out of the ball game. Mets lead the woeful Reds 7-4.
Mets are coming off a winless 1-6 homestand.
Everybody's getting healthy when they face the Reds these days, and the Mets have dominated the Reds in recent years. He's got to be careful. That was pretty close to a balk move.
1-1 the count. Giants swept the Braves in Atlanta. They moved along to Philadelphia, and they're getting blistered 8-0 tonight by the Phillies in the 6th inning. The Phillies were the club that struck out against Max Scherzer 15 times into the 7th inning. And they had a lead in the 9th and lost the game. Deep center, Ian Happ with a home run. Number 3 for the Cubs tonight.
Number 4 for Ian Happ for the season, and he, like Baez, uses the big part of the yard. Garcia and the run output, the home run output against him has doubled and some tonight. It allowed just 2 prior to this evening. This swing of the bat by Ian Happ, the 3rd one he's allowed tonight. Ford home run replay. That has to feel awfully good for Mr. Happ.
Well, he took the first pitch of the season for a home run against Jose Urena in Miami. His 4 homers have come against the Marlins. 7-0.
Joe's going to tell the guys to stay out till 5 in the morning tonight.
Bounce to third. It's foul. I think it's all about 2 words. Home cooking. Right? Isn't that the old adage? Gotta have a little home cooking.
But it's funny, I remember in St. Louis the other night, game 1 of that series, saying, well, maybe the change of venue will do them good because they've struggled here in the last few days at Wrigley.
Guys getting in so late and probably getting up late. I'm not sure how much home cooking actually occurred before they got to the ballpark, but it's just something we feel we have to say.
And we have to say this too. Legendary musician Billy Joel returns to Chicago to perform here at Wrigley Field, one night only, Friday, September 7th. Tickets on sale now. Don't miss your chance to see Billy Joel at the friendly confines. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com/concerts.
Because I love a good segue, speaking of home cooking, we got the Anthony Rizzo Family Foundation cook-off, the annual cook-off for cancer, and that's coming up on Wednesday. Cubs.com/cook for more info. They always raise a ton of money for Anthony's Family Foundation. Anthony, the Roberto Clemente Award winner last year for his charitable efforts. Not that they have asked you to come up with a signature dish, but if I put you in a cook-off competition, Jim DeShays, you could make anything you want, your best dish. What would it be? Mora's out, 2 down.
Very limited skills. Years ago, years and years ago, as a player, we did a cookbook for charity, and my contribution was chili dogs for a chilly day. And the ingredients included hot dogs, canned chili, onions, and mustard.
I like it. One of the classics, baseball flavor.
Here's your recipe. Open the can, pour it in the pot.
Ian Happ with a 2-run homer at 7-0, and Doug Glanville will join us down on the field.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hi, Doug.
Doing well, 7-0, and good signs from Chris Bryant and company tonight.
Yeah, I thought his sequence of that at bat with the home run was really critical when you look at them pounding him inside, and he wasn't even flinching. I mean, you look at this sequence, they clearly were trying to get him off the plate, intimidate him in. He kind of backs him up, sliders hard in the entire time, but look how he adjusts so quickly to get the bat hit out right there. I mean, that is a sign that's very positive for Chris Bryant and the Cubs when you think of someone who's been hit in the face, not flinching at all, no intimidation.
Nice grab by Albert Almora on the warning track in right center. The outfield has come through for Kyle Hendricks tonight. And that's a play I know you've made in the past, Doug.
Yeah, well, you look about the discussions about their defense struggling, and they have not been really as strong. When you look at numbers like fielding percentage, the conversion of plays into outs. But tonight you've seen Zobrist, excellent plays, and Almora always raises the bar defensively in center field without a question.
Here's Derek Dietrich. One hit for the Marlins. It was a Rojas single with one out in the third. And typically, JD, Kyle doesn't walk a lot of guys, so you have to beat him.
Yeah. This is a big mountain that the Marlins, well, the Marlins, it's a big ocean that they have to swim here to come back against the Cubs tonight with Hendricks on the mound. He's not likely to open up any doors for them.
Fouled out of play.
This is a team in the Marlins that came into this one with a team batting average against right-handed pitching of .217.
Pretty efficient for Kyle. This will be his 50th pitch of the night. Cubs trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. And that one whacked to deep right. And Zobrist plays it well, but it's a double for Dietrich. Is right field in a day game, Doug, here, is that the toughest? I know I've talked to Jason Hayward about San Francisco. What's the toughest right field in terms of ballparks that you played in?
Yeah, I mean, Wrigley is in a lot of different categories is one of the toughest ballparks. Anytime you're dealing with a brick wall behind you, it's a wake-up call. But the sun factor, especially with day games, you really can struggle with trying to shield yourself from either the ball hitting you or just getting the right angle to close out a play. So you always have to be on your toes, making sure that you're looking at all the angles and aware of where the sun is at all times.
1 ball, no strikes to Maben. Two hits now for Miami. Yeah, this park is just about perfect. About the only thing it doesn't have is the ability to take away a home run, right?
Right. Yeah, there's no glory, and I'd like to see someone climb the basket. I mean, that would be something.
Yeah, maybe swing on a vine, right. Grab the basket.
Right, Tarzan play. But no, it's challenging in so many ways. You talk about the wind, whether it's the sun. I mean, the field has improved so much. Obviously, the grounds crew done a great job. But back in my day, the field used to crown sort of downhill, and you would be running away from the ball vertically as you were getting closer horizontally. So there was a lot of elements, let alone, obviously, we mentioned the brick wall, or if you're allergic to ivy, you really have a problem. So, but, this is a tough field for any outfield. You think of Hayward, players that come over here have to make major adjustments just to get situated.
2-1 pitch. Ooh, just off the outside. 3-1. Rojas is on deck. Marlins have a runner in scoring position for just the second time. It's fouled. 3-2. Wind is not doing anything at the moment. Tyler Cloyd, the right-hander, up in the Marlins bullpen. Really don't have to say right-hander, do I? They don't have any lefties.
No, not a single lefty in their bullpen.
is a base hit, and it will not result in the first run for the Marlins as Freddie Gonzalez will stop Dietrich at third. And first and third for Rojas. Like Dietrich made sure it went through on the liner.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of read, and down 7, probably going to be a little cautious. But another good play by Zobrist. He's flying around out there. He's on for a guy who got in at 4 in the morning or whatever it was when the club rolled in. 37-year-old Ben Zobrist bouncing around out there like a kid.
And I think overall Hendricks has kind of lived at the top of the zone, especially with his changeup. He's been able to complement it well with his cutter slider, and that's been able to keep them off balance. But for the most part, he's been elevated. A lot of hard outs in terms of the outfield play, but he's bent but not broken, and that's a sign of his mettle. That's his style.
JD mentioned that Bohr at bat. We'll go pitch by pitch when we get a second.
I mean, when you don't have like a high velocity guy, he relies a lot on movement, deception, location, and those are his bread and butter. Now you could be Greg Maddux and have a fantastic career with that, and so far he's done an exceptional job.
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago when Kyle was really taking off, and we were making all the comparisons to Maddux, and I said, well, he is very much like Greg. Now, if he can just do it for 15 more years, he'd be a Hall of Famer. And that's
he's about a fifth of the way there. Let's see if they can turn it. Bryant to Baez, and they will get it out. And I hope Javi's all right as a run scores. And that's the second out. It's 7-1. This would have put me on the DL for 6 months, but he's a good stretcher.
Yeah, good job. Yep. You'd want him on your team twister team. Very acrobatic out there, very resourceful, whatever it takes.
But I think when you're a defender and you're throwing to Javi Baez, you're comfortable. You don't have to be perfect with him. He's so good around the bases and making adjustments to throws that you have the trust in him. It's almost like a first baseman that, like Rizzo, who picks the ball well. You don't have to be perfect. Just get it out of your hand, get the release, and let the magic happen. So Baez is incredible around the bag on tags.
This is J.B. Shuck pinch hitting for the starter Garcia. They only have one left-handed bat on their bench, and it is Shuck.
I guess they don't like lefties in Miami.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Swing and a miss. Throw to first, close. But Rojas is safe.
Somewhere in there's a Castro Revolution joke.
And he got back in. So Garcia got tagged for 7 runs in his 4 innings. The home run ball got him. 3 of them tonight.
Well, if I were Garcia, stage of his career that he's at and the way he has pitched up till tonight, I would have gone online every day for the last 2 weeks and gone to the stats page of my favorite website and looked at the league leaderboards. Who's leading the league in ERA? Oh, by golly, it's me. But it's probably, obviously, it's the end of the line for that for now.
Well, you know, you notice that after the Bryant home run, he started to really go to his changeup a lot. It's almost like he lost a little confidence in his fastball because he had Bryant set up pretty well. He left it out over the plate. So that changeup became sort of his new primary pitch, and it was not located very well. And the Cubs hitters did a great job of just staying back on him.
Another 0-2 in the dirt.
Yeah, I think what happens
can
is,
that home run ball scare you away
well,
from a pitch?
You get beat on a certain pitch, and you tend to go away from that pitch. You have to realize it wasn't the pitch, it was the execution of the pitch that hurt him. But as a pitcher, that's a mistake we make all the time. And, well, man, I threw that fastball up there and the guy hit it 400 feet. I gotta trick him. I gotta do something different.
Well, you got to throw that pitch better next time, right?
Yeah, just it's you know, put a number on it. 8 out of 10, 9 times out of 10. It's not necessarily the pitch decision, but the pitch execution.
2-2. Run in for the Marlins in the 5th. And that's Caratini to the bag. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Cubs 7, Marlins 1 in the series opener.
Sequence Hendricks v. Bohr. There's that elevated changeup. Not a changeup, it was just a dead fish heater. High fastball, a little show me away, and then the money pitch, a straight change that stays on the plate and fades down below the knee. 1 out of 13 Bohr is against Hendricks now, and he's punched out 7 or 8 times, and the straight change gets him high percentage of the time.
Yeah, Doug, you hear sometimes about what you can't do. But sometimes that's exactly what you should do because hitters aren't expecting it, right?
Well, and you start to overthink as a hitter. You develop patterns, and the great pitchers take every sequence against you and start to use it against you as a hitter. And he did a fantastic job just continually to adjust. And, you know, Bohr hit one hard, and Zobrist kind of bailed him out. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that, as JD said, the execution.
Chris Bryant against the new Marlins pitcher Tyler Cloyd as a leadoff double. So Bryant has hit a 2-run homer, a strikeout, now a double.
And whereas the home run was a mistake, I think Cloyd executed the pitch. He's trying to go in. Well, maybe didn't quite get the action, the good late movement in on the hands a little bit, but teams continue to pitch Chris in. It's interesting. In the ESPN game last night, he did a little segment with A-Rod, and during he basically told the whole world where he likes to be pitched. Says he's looking for that ball middle in, and they continue to attack him, and he continues to do damage on it.
You know, the fact that he was hit in the face, you know, they're going to test you. You know, they're going to see, are you flinching in there? Are you kind of a little bit tentative? Are you trying to cheat too much? And Bryant looks so stable in there. It's as if it never happened.
There's Baez for the shortstop, Rojas. Bryant back to the bag at second. So that is the first out here in the 5th. And it'll bring up Wilson Contreras. Wilson is lined out and grounded out. Doug Glanville with us here in the 5th. I was just thinking, Doug, I've seen a lot of injuries here. Clayton Kershaw going to the DL. Obviously that terrible Molina foul ball that he got hit with and had surgery as Contreras lines out to left.
Contreras.
Man, oh man.
He's going to need a little therapy session after this one.
The 10-day DL, Doug, do you like that change? I think generally teams are more apt to use it as opposed to the 15. And, you know, it used to be, right, you could be day-to-day for a week, but now there's no reason to.
Yeah, I think that was the adjustment. They started to look at the pattern of how the disabled list was being used, and a lot of times it was kind of like, well, let's just kind of see. Because, you know, once you slap that 15-day, that's a whole different can of worms of going out that long. So the 10 days sort of, you know, cut into that, and I think it's made a significant difference, so they're more likely to use it.
When you go retroactive, man, a starting pitcher could really just miss one start and end up on the DL. Wild pitch allowing Bryant to advance to third.
Yeah, I was only on the disabled list once in my career. I tore a hamstring tendon in Texas, which was not fun. And I went on, I think, a 15-day, but I was out for ultimately 2 months. But I was able to come back. I was getting old at that point.
I'm guessing you weren't old, you just felt that way.
Yeah, well, you know.
Old relative to the baseball world.
The baseball world, 33. It was like, oh, get the cane for that guy out there.
Caratini starting for Anthony Rizzo at first base tonight. Hitters count, and now it's 3-0. JD talks about the only fastball count now is 3-0, and it really isn't even that necessarily. Used to be 3-1 was a fastball count. Guys generally get the green light. We'll see if Victor has it. Not taking all the way.
Well, you just saw it right there. That's what's kind of changed. The fact that he threw a cutter on 3. You know, it's no longer this 4-seam, here you go, hit it. They're going to throw sinker, take velocity off, cut the ball. The fastballs have become multiple pitches.
2-out walk. And we'll bring up Russell, who has struck out looking, walked and scored.
Yeah, I think that's part of the analytics too. Just teams have become more savvy to the influence of counts. So especially if you have a halfway decent hitters up there and you're 2-0, 3-1, 3-0, I think immediately the switch goes from, well, why give in to this guy, you know, and just throw him something over the heart of the plate and backing up a base. Let's just start fresh with the next guy. Even if the next guy is a more competent hitter, you feel like, oh, you got a better chance competing against him than you do, you know, 3-0, 3-1 against the guy who preceded.
Yeah, and I remember playing with Scott Rowland, and he got a 2-0 count. A guy threw a pitch. He popped up to second base, and he came in the dugout and said, "Does everyone have a cutter?" He was just so that was the day. It just changed. Cutters allow pitchers to throw in comfortable counts for hitters, a pitch that gives them just a little bit of a doubt that the ball's going to have this late movement, and just keep them off the fastball enough that they don't square up and hit it hard, and that's enough to get the out.
And then you have guys like Hendricks, such tacticians, they can go change up in those counts, or some guys can throw a little get over curveball.
Absolutely. I mean, we talk about the velocity being up, but I think part of the strikeouts are the fact that these off counts are not reliable to hitters anymore. The velocity's there, but it's also the change of speeds.
And on the hands.
And I remember pitching, and if you didn't throw a fastball back in the day, 3-0, 3-1. Well, you always did 3-0. You almost always did 3-1, but if you didn't, the opposing dugout would just scream at you, challenge your manliness, and challenge somebody.
Challenge somebody, yeah. Yeah, not smart, though.
Another foul.
I wanted to walk over there. You trot out here with an 84-mile-an-hour fastball and challenge somebody. I think it's so easy.
The data's in. You know, there's so much information now that it's hard to deny, you know, how to pitch in certain counts. And you know, the cat and mouse game continues because hitters have the data also, and they just go back and forth trying to get that little advantage.
All Cubs here early on, 7-1, deep to right. Anderson back on it. Can't get it. Bryant scores. Caratini is in. That's a 2-run double for Addison Russell. So he was not in a favorable count, but he ended up with a favorable result.
And just hammering that ball the other way. The Cubs up and down the lineup really having a nice approach here tonight. They needed this in the worst way. They've been going through this stretch. What is it, 10 out of 11 where they've scored 3 runs or fewer. They were due for a breakout game, and ironic that it comes you know, the night after arriving at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Looks like Anderson may have lost his way a little bit out there.
Ian Happ 9-1, 5th inning. First run scoring hit that wasn't a home run.
And you know how it is, JD. I mean, it's not the first night that gets you, it's the next night that gets you when you get in at 5 in the morning. So you're on fumes. You're like, okay, let me overcompensate now. I'm going to feel good. But it's the next day that you're like, whoa,
Body's dragging.
What hit you? So, but they look sharp.
0-2 on Happ. Fortunately, tomorrow is also a night game. The Marlins, by the way, had a late start in Cincinnati, and they had some rain, so they didn't get in until about midnight last night, but they got about a 4.5-hour head start on the Cubs. Floyd with an 0-2 is outside. JD and I were talking before the game, Doug, about just the relentless nature of the schedule, and a lot of reporters, it's their job to ask what's going on with the team, but most of the players today are thinking about the game tonight. They've already forgotten about last night.
Well, they come at you, and that's the beauty of baseball. It's a series of tomorrows, and you have an opportunity to sort of get back on track the next day.
Happ swings and misses. Good stuff from Doug Glanville, our Cubs insider, as always. And we go to the 6th. It's the Cubs 9 and Miami 1.
Where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
Is your mom the real MVP? Nominate her today at NBCSportsChicago.com/MVPmom for the chance to win 4 tickets to Crosstown this Mother's Day, presented by Hyundai.
Kyle Hendricks with an 8-run lead as he'll work here in the 6th inning.
He's not had to work awfully hard here tonight. 3 hits allowed, double single back-to-back last inning, and Marlins finally get on the board, but the pitch count is in great shape. It's a cool evening. Should be strong and fresh. He went 7 2/3 innings the last time. That's the longest outing by a Cubs pitcher this year.
Well, if he keeps this pitch count pace, he might be able to do it again tonight.
Threw 104 pitches in that outing.
1-1 to Real Muto. Big wave and a miss.
Plus he's working with a couple extra days rest, so an extra day anyway.
He's fouled to third. Home runs tonight: Bryant, Baez, and Happ. Addison Russell with a 2-run double. Playing big ball tonight. A roller left side. That's Russell. Muto runs really well, and he's safe. Not just for a catcher, but he's a real good athlete. And he just beat out an infield hit.
Yeah, he was an infielder in high school and quarterback, basketball player, did it all. Won a couple state championships.
So Prado, with the leadoff man reaching for the first time tonight for Miami.
These balls, it looked like it was a little bit of a tweener for Hattie out there at short, where he wasn't sure whether he should go try to play it on the backhand side or work around it. And got in front of it, but it may have cost him just a little time.
Prado just trying to stay healthy. On the DL 4 times since the start of last year. It is hauled in by Almora. One away. Are you in charge of planning your next social gathering? Plan a day or evening at beautiful Wrigley Field and enjoy special perks only available inside the ballpark. The Chicago Cubs offers special ticket packages for groups of 15 or more. Visit Cubs.com/groups. This homestand will cover 8 days and 7 games, 3 against the Marlins, 3 against the White Sox, and then the makeup game next Monday afternoon versus the Braves. And that also will be the Jackie Robinson Day makeup game, so both teams will wear number 42 in honor of Jackie.
Sox are in town this week as well. They host the Pirates in the set beginning tomorrow night.
Very short lead by Real Muto, and Castro hits a ground ball. Russell, Baez, Caratini, 2, and that's it. 6-4 to 3. We go to the bottom of the 6th. All Cubs tonight. season long on NBCSportsChicago.com. They are presented by nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media. Nationwide is on your side. That's Brian Holiday catching for Real Muto. Cloyd in his second inning of work. First pitch strike to Kyle Hendricks. Ready for this? First or last names in baseball history. A little twist on our main game. How many can you rhyme with Cloyd? So it's not a Cloyd off, but
like Cloyd Boyer, Clete Boyer's brother, the Boyer brothers, but Cliff Floyd.
Very nice. Lloyd Wayner. Is that all you got?
Bullet Bob Boyd.
There you go. Okay. We run out of them already?
There's got to be Lloyd Braun. Serenity now. Lloyd McClendon.
Swing and a miss.
Floyd Yeomans.
Floyd Yeoman's a good one. Gavin Floyd.
Gavin Floyd. Floyd the Barber.
You always go there. Two and one. Paid crowd tonight, 37,333.
Marlins probably enjoy coming to town playing in front of all these folks. Do that very often in their home ballpark. At the bottom of the league in attendance, averaging a little over 11,000 per game. And when you consider, that opening series with the Cubs, they drew, especially in the opener, and some other giveaways. That you look at their game by game, they've had a lot of sub 10,000 crowds, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 folks in the ballpark.
Twitter chiming in. Oil Can Boyd, Floyd Bannister, some good ones. Three-2 on Almora. Jeff says Coy Hill. I'll give you that one.
Always appreciate a good reach.
Floyd 6'3", 210. Got a birthday coming up in 9 days. He'll turn 31. Almora draws the free pass. And Ben Zobrist, who's had a really nice game all around, scored twice. He's played really good defense in right. Well, bat with a man on and one down.
So sometimes it's hard to read my own writing, but I see 3 walks on my 4 walks now on the score sheet. And the 3 previous have all come around to score. 2 of them immediately followed by home runs. That's a little peer pressure for you there, Zoe. And then Caratini walked in advance of the Russell double last inning and scored.
screen behind home plate.
Good pass at it, though. Cloyd's had a little big league time before. As you said, he's not a kid. He's 30. 6 starts with the Phillies in 2012. A little time with them the following year. Spent a season in Korea.
Looks a little like his teammate Dan Straley. With that red beard. I assume Dan still has a beard. I haven't seen him in a while. Pop fly, not deep, and it'll be the second baseman Castro for out number 2. Well, some good news and some very sad news on the medical front. We'll start with the good news first. Danny Farquhar, great to hear he has been released from the hospital. I guess he will not pitch this year, according to doctors, but they say he will pitch again. And the White Sox have to be excited about the fact that he's healthy and out of the hospital, and you know he's going to do all he can to get back to the big leagues as fast as he can, but it makes sense they don't want him to pitch this season. Ruptured aneurysm on April 20th. The sad news, Stephen Piscotty's mom, Gretchen, has passed away, battling ALS. You might remember the story from the offseason. Piscotty was traded from the Cardinals to the Athletics, in part to be near his mom. She was diagnosed in May of last year. Bounce, it'll be played by Rojas. Throw to second. Good try, but Almora is safe there as the throw pulled Castro to the outfield side of the bag. So Bryant's got his 3rd hit.
We're on cycle watch. Home run double, now single, and Rojas, spirited effort, but Castro has to come off the bag to make the catch. Almora indeed is safe. Means Javi will get a shot.
Lance Barksdale checking with Don Mattingly to see if they wanted to challenge and play at second, but that was not coming. Baez smokes one foul.
Hanging fastball. Phillies really putting a beat down on the Giants now. It's a 10-zip. Samardzija started that game for the Giants, allowed 5 runs in 4 innings.
I'll give a shout out to Ken Scheckler from Charles City, Iowa, watching and rooting on the Cubs tonight. Missed outside. 1-2.
2 home runs for Odubel Herrera in that game for the Phillies. Tonight he's driven in 5. Man, the numbers he's putting up: 341, 401, 537 slash line for Herrera.
Popped into left field. Dietrich has it. We want to give a shout out to all the Boyds, the Floyds, and the Lloyds, and of course the Cloyds.
And the Noids. Avoid the Noid.
The Noid. It is all Cubs 9-1 after 6.
luxury premier options that Wrigley Field has to offer, like the Dell EMC Legend Suite, which includes an all-inclusive suite experience and, best of all, a visit from a former Cub player. Visit Cubs.com/premier for an option that fits your needs.
Justin Bohr, former Cub farmhand, takes ball one.
His name has popped up as a possible trade candidate, with the Marlins making all the moves they made in the offseason, dismantling their roster. Speculation that Bohr might go. Certainly be attractive for a team looking for a big bat.
One and two. Looks like a changeup on the way. And a rollover ground out to Baez. That's out number one. It'll bring up Anderson, the right fielder. He has lined to center and then fly deep to the warning track in the fifth. Told via Twitter the Moon Men on Rocky and Bullwinkle. Are you familiar?
The Moon Men on
Rocky and Bullwinkle. Their names were Gidney and Cloyd.
Huh. That's next level there.
That really is. Now you know. Fair ball past a diving Bryant. Anderson will make the turn. He's got two. And what do we got? Baez being looked at by Nick Frangella. Joe Madden also out. I did not see him go out on the relay. And what happened? We mentioned the back before. I don't know if it's still a back or a leg issue. He's coming out of the game.
No need to push it in a 9-1 ball game.
Tommy LaStella will come into the game and play second.
Hey, you man.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 2, Tommy LaStella enters the ballgame for the Cubs. Number 7.
Yeah, I didn't see anything either, other than the fact that, in the play in the hole last night, you could tell something was bothering when he came out of that earlier tonight. If the back is just off a little bit and make an abrupt turn, do something a little funky, it can bite you.
Oh, and 1 on Dietrich. Double and a run in the fifth. That is Anderson standing at second base. Here it comes, and a fly ball to right. Called in by Zobrist. All right, Ben Zobrist tonight has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 putouts.
Center fielder,
Maben with 2 outs.
I would not be surprised to find out that that's the most putouts a right fielder has had in a Kyle Hendricks start. Anyone would care to research that, feel free.
I'm busier, I'd do it.
Yeah.
Maben fouls upstairs.
Maben went to right field for a base hit last time, and you get the sense that that's the veteran's approach here tonight. Maben's been around the game for a while. He knows what Hendricks is all about, so get the sense that his mindset is, I'm just going to stay back, let this ball travel, try not to get fooled by that off-speed pitch. And if that's what a hitter's thinking, then in on the hands is a good place to go.
The Cubs have to come up with a starting pitcher tomorrow. Yu Darvish goes to the DL due to a virus. The Cubs have not announced who that might be. Now, Michael Roth, don't believe is on the 40-man roster. But it would be his day to pitch for the Iowa Cubs, so he could be a candidate. Left-hander we saw in spring training. We may not know the answer to that until tomorrow. Maybe Joe will announce it after the game tonight.
Jen Ho-Sang was scheduled to start tonight. They may have scratched him.
Let me see if he's pitching tonight.
He has really struggled so far
Yeah.
down there this year, but he's been here before at least. Jan Ho is 0-4 with an 8.04 earned run average.
He did not pitch tonight, so he could be the man. Brad Markey started instead. Iowa, by the way, is playing Round Rock. Tim Lincecum pitched an inning in that game. That is in the left. And a run will score as Anderson trots home, throw to second. They're gonna get him.
Oh my goodness, was that a play? That was a big time play. Wow.
Nicely done by Ian Happ. The run does count, but the inning is over, and it's the St. Xavier University 7th inning stretch coming up.
Tonight's guest conductors for Take Me Out to the Ball Game: Chicago Fire's Joe Manoso, Yuri Sarnaroff, and Christian Stolte.
What's up, Chicago? Let's give some love to the CFD. Are you ready, Gary? 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. Oh, it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's
Underway here in the bottom of the 7th. Ball 1 to Wilson Contreras. Base running gaff by Cameron Maben, and a great play by Ian Happ to get him. Yadiel Rivera now in at second for Castro.
This is just a beautiful play by Happ. The speed, the hustle to get over there, leave his feet to cut the ball off, and then the throw in. Stella just standing there playing possum, but Maben, you know, he's got a good look at it. He knows what's going down. He knows he's in trouble if the throw's on the money, and should have probably just been going station to station there, but great play by Ian Happ.
One and two on Contreras. Skied down the right field line. This ball will land out of play. Hey, tomorrow it's Authentic Fan Night. Get in on the action and watch the Cubs take on the Marlins with David Kaplan and David DeJesus. Tune into NBC Sports Chicago's Facebook page for the 6th inning sidecast. They'll take your questions as they comment on the game action.
Also needs to get a knock here.
It's not going to happen as Dietrich makes a sliding grab, battling the lights, it looked like. That's been a tough go for Wilson since the start of the Cardinals series. He's now 1 for 19. So lined out twice and hit a hard ground ball to third as well.
Just keeps gnawing at you. You're going through a funk like that, and each and every day you come to the ballpark, you try to turn the page. You say, "This is the day I'm going to get it going." You get up there and hit a rocket. It turns into an out. Then you do it again, and it'll test you.
Foul tip, strike one. Mentioned the Iowa Cubs. David Bodie on Sunday had a 5-for-5 game. One played in relief of Harlan Garcia, who got knocked around in 4 innings of work, gave up 7 runs, including 3 home runs.
So those fine gentlemen from the television show Chicago Fire did a beautiful rendition of the stretch.
They did a great job.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering if I don't know if they're paying attention, but if they looked at my computer while they were up here, they would have seen images of Gidney and Cloyd from Bullwinkle, and they're probably wondering, what are these guys doing during the game?
Do they look familiar? The Moon
I
Man?
was a Bullwinkle guy, and vaguely. But
so that's a good poll by our viewers. 2-2 foul. We devised a relief pitcher stat, and now I can't even remember what the definition of it was, but it was called a tourniquet. And was it simply 3 innings? The idea that you're saving your bullpen?
Yeah, I don't know if we had hard numbers on it or if it was just our judgment. We got to be, you know, omnipotent rulers and decided whether a guy earned a tourniquet or not. I don't remember.
It was a solid single the other way. 3rd time on for Caratini. Well, I'm thinking Cloyd might qualify, even though his team's getting blown out. Just eating up some innings. Stop the bleeding, right? The tourniquet.
Yeah. Yeah, you had to kind of shut the other club down. Just kind of change the tone a little bit.
Time for our Gallagher insurance runs. Two-run double by Addy in the 5th inning. Over the head of the right fielder, Brian Anderson. Now, you know, we've got a lot of time during a baseball season. We're on basically every day, and unfiltered brains tend to throw out crazy ideas for new stats and the like. But on a very serious note, the one tweak to scoring I would like to see, and it kind of goes back to Almora causing the balk earlier, is just a little more leeway and discretion for scorers. My idea was the win stat. You take away the 5-inning requirement, take away really all the requirements, just pick the most effective pitcher on the team that wins, and that guy gets the win. On the balk by Garcia, I would have just given Almora a stolen base, since he would have had one anyway. There's a base hit. I know you start to mess with the history of the game, but times change.
Yeah, trust the scorer who's watching the game to make a judgment call from time to time.
I hate the ball in the air and 3 guys are in the area and it drops among them and it's a base hit. And I know as a former pitcher, you hate that too.
Yeah, and I think I've talked to a lot of scorers over the years, and they've talked about it at their annual meetings. There's been a lot of talk about implementing a team error where no individual gets charged with an error, but the team does, and it affects the pitcher's earned runs accordingly.
And nothing on Ian Happ.
What if you could even charge a guy like a half an error?
Sure. Spread it around a little bit.
Ground ball to short. You know, short hops the first baseman, but it's a ball the first baseman should have picked. You each get a half.
Yeah, it's one error, and both guys take a little of the blame, so to speak. My win idea, there are many who say, who cares? Pitcher wins don't matter and they're overrated anyway. I'm not trying to obliterate every stat from the record book. But here's a good one. Max Scherzer struck out 15 Phillies in 6 1/3 yesterday. The Nationals were down a run in the 9th. They scored 2 and won the game. The guy who got the final out of the 9th won it. Scherzer didn't get anything. That is gone. Wow. Ian Happ to the opposite way. His second homer of the night. And the rout is on. It's 12-2.
A few days ago, Joe Madden said that Happ was going to come out here one of these days and it was going to click and he would go on a roll from there. Well, he's clicked. I'm not making any promises of what the immediate future is going to bring, but what a night for Ian Happ. 2 home runs, a beautiful play in left field.
He's homered from both sides of the plate tonight. A strike on Kyle Hendricks. Always good when a starting pitcher gets 4 plate appearances. It's caught. So 2 outs.
This Friday the 11th, Cubs and the White Sox get after it at 1:20, and up to the first 10,000 early arriving fans receive a Wilson Contreras bobblehead presented by TransUnion. Limited tickets are still available for Friday's game at Cubs.com.
Happ, the first Cubs switch hitter to homer from both sides of the plate in the same game since Deoner Navarro did it against the White Sox 5 seasons ago. That was a 3-homer game, I believe. And Ed Hardig, I just knew Ed would be the guy to do it. Just emailed me, said Jason Hayward had 6 putouts in right field in a Kyle Hendricks start in 2016 in Washington. Thanks, Ed.
There you go, Ed.
Almora pops it up. Rojas keeps his feet moving, and the Cubs done in the 7th. But they have slugged big time tonight. Bryant, Baez, and Happ twice. Ian's knocked in 5 of the 12. True moment, and boy, a lot of great options tonight, but it always starts with a starting pitcher, doesn't it?
Especially coming after the series in St. Louis and the way the bullpen was used. You mentioned it. Needed to get some innings out of Kyle tonight. Here he is back out there in the 8th inning. To his normal tricks, hasn't walked a man, just a couple of punch outs, but a lot of early contact. That's what has allowed him to keep the pitch count down.
Pedro Strop between innings. How about the look on Carl Edwards Jr.'s face when
Joe came and got him last night?
No. Ground ball to La Stella in the outfield grass. And he makes the play. Still waiting a word from the Cubs clubhouse on Javier Baez, who left the game a little earlier.
I think Kyle last year, anytime there was a long extra inning game or long rain delay, we played till the wee hours. It seemed like he got the starting assignment the next day, and whenever they needed somebody to go out there and pitch a bunch of innings.
Yeah, certainly worked out. Believe he stayed with the team and got in late with everybody else. A lot of times that starting pitcher will fly early ahead of the club. One ball, one strike to Cloyd.
Yeah, you're always weighing that, you're having that debate to leave early to get a good night's sleep and give up all the good food that's on the charter. It's a tough call. Yep. And the convenience of traveling with the team. Plus, you just never know what's going to go down the night before.
Yeah.
And you might be needed.
You guys just kind of like being around their teammates. 2 down, 8th inning.
This Sunday, it's Mother's Day, and Wrigley Field is going pink to promote breast cancer awareness. The Cubs take on the Sox at 1:20. That would be the White Sox. And up to the first 5,000 early arriving fans in the Budweiser bleachers receive a Cubs Save Second Base t-shirt presented by Advocate Healthcare. Prior to the game, the Cubs will have a ceremony to honor breast cancer survivors. For details, visit Cubs.com.
Holiday came in to catch in the 6th inning. Hey, this story from the weekend might have been my favorite. I did not want to let too much time go before mentioning. Did you see Colin McHugh of the Astros use the bullpen cart in Arizona? Love it. And man, has Kyle Hendricks been fun to watch tonight. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's all Cubs, 12-2.
Checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card. Only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Members FDIC.
All right, don't think too hard. Kyle Hendricks, 98 pitches through 8. Does he pitch the 9th?
Yeah, I would. I'd run him back out there.
He should take the bullpen cart. Well, we don't have one here, but I love it.
Yeah, for some reason the Diamondback relievers have refused to use the bullpen cart that they have there in Phoenix.
Out into deep right center. And one hop the wall. Zobrist to second base. What a night he's had. Second hit, third reach.
Well, Madden's going to be the first manager in baseball history to do a mandatory, you have to stay out late curfew. After this performance here tonight, everybody chiming in, having real good swings.
Well, I'm sure in his pregame meeting with the media, Don Mattingly was asked about the struggling Cubs offense. And typically a manager's answer is very complimentary of the other team, but also the idea of they're going to take it out on somebody at some point. And as a manager, you hope that they wait a few days until you leave town. Especially a good offense like the Cubs.
This It's a little correction in the market, what's going on here tonight. It's been a 2-week downturn, an explosion here tonight. Tozawa.
There's Corey Mazzoni, just joined the roster. Well, because we play so many games, you can tend to make big picture statements about a team or a group, but there's no guarantee, and oftentimes it just does not apply to the small picture. And it's the idea of a team that's 40 games under 500 can sweep a team that's 197. That's the way the game is.
Yeah, and that's why you know, baseball way back in the day, there weren't multiple divisions. There was only a World Series in terms of playoffs, and initially the World Series was kind of like, it wasn't an exhibition, but the real prize was winning the pennant because it was the long haul, which it did over the long grind of the season. Now times have changed, and with other sports, with, you know, expanding their playoffs, baseball fell in line with that, and it was just natural, I think, that we would start to emphasize the postseason more than the regular season. It's kind of a shame, though, because, and that's the true nature of baseball is who wins that long summer-long race. And once you get into the postseason, it's a bit of a crapshoot. JB needs a triple for the cycle.
Homer first inning, 2-run shot. That would be the game winner, assuming the score holds up. Double in the 5th. Infield single in the 6th. Floyd in relief, making his 83rd pitch. Ball 4.
Number 2, second baseman, Tommy Laskella.
Hefty home run time. Bryant in the opening inning, Baez in the 3rd, and Happ in the 4th and the 7th, and men on base for all 4 home runs. Chatting with Zach Zaidman from the radio crew before the game about the fact that Cubs' last 13 homers coming into tonight were with no men on base. And the point was, it's interesting to point out it just doesn't necessarily mean anything. And tonight,
no,
4 homers of at least 2 runs.
Try to draw a conclusion that, that's some kind of a flaw. They just haven't had enough base runners.
Somebody asked on Twitter, what's your team's winning percentage when you get 2 3-run homers and a quality start? My answer would be probably 98%. Or higher.
Probably, yeah. And they're doing the wave at Wrigley.
Muscled out into center, base hit. Zobrist will score 13-2. Double, walk, single to start the 8th. looks to be it for Cloyd. Don Mattingly's going to make a change.
Yeah, a little extra bear hug there from the manager. Say, hey, hang with him, kid. Thanks for hanging in there, getting some outs for me. His ERA took a beating, but Mattingly appreciates the effort.
So pitching change in the 8th, 13-2. We'll be back. Official external pain relief of the Chicago Cubs. Veteran right-hander Junichi Tazawa.
Pitching for the 17th time this year. 1-1 with a 780. The former Red Sox. This is his second year with the Marlins. Year 2 of a 2-year deal.
The word on Javier Baez. He exited with right groin tightness. We don't know for sure, but you have to believe that this either aggravated it or started the process at stretch earlier in the game. If that's not a groin, I don't know what would be. Swing and a miss. Just a very unnatural movement for a middle infielder. Fouled out of play, and you hope that Javi caught it real early and wasn't out there to aggravate it any further.
Yeah, you have to assume he's probably down for tomorrow.
Sharp single into left. Bryant jogs home. 14-2. There's that hit.
Yeah. Has to feel awfully good. He really good swings all night long. Hit the ball hard. Hard as probably anybody on the club tonight consistently, but he had not been rewarded for that good work up until now. He gets this elevated heater from Tazawa, gets on top of it. Good top hand, driving that ball through the middle of the hole on the left side there. You see the body language saying finally.
Yeah, and I don't know the Marlins bullpen situation, but Cloyd gave them the kind of outing In terms of innings, not results. He gave up 7 runs, at least at this point has allowed 7. But it's the kind of outing that'll get you sent to the minors because they can't really use him for the next few days. It's a cruel business sometimes.
I think at some point they'd want to get a left-hander up here to join that bullpen. O'Grady, as we saw at the beginning of the year.
He is, I believe, on the DL.
Yeah. I didn't know when if he was due back anytime soon.
Still nobody out. Two and 2 on Victor Caratini.
This is about the time of the ball game where I would be required to say, well, if you're Darvish and you're pitching tomorrow, you're saying, come on, boys, save a few for tomorrow. But you're not pitching tomorrow. Congratulations. Very excited up there. Got a foul ball. So we don't know who's who may be lamenting the fact that the Cubs aren't saving these runs for tomorrow.
Could be Jen-Ho Singh, who was scratched tonight. Pitching for Iowa. Called strike 3. Caratini is out. Bring up Russell.
Punched out just 6 times tonight. They've taken 5 walks.
And we've talked a lot over the last couple of years about Mike Montgomery, who's kind of been a Cubs 6th starter and a spot starter. And if you're wondering, well, why wouldn't he take the start tomorrow? Well, you could do that, but he pitched last night and went 3 innings. So that right off the bat kind of takes him out of the mix. The other thing, he's not really stretched out at this time to be a 5 or 6 inning guy.
He threw 45 pitches last night. But this effort by Hendricks here tonight, that does change the equation a little bit, allows you to piece it together tomorrow. That's the other, we were talking about Kyle all night, the need to pitch deep into this game because we were looking back at what transpired in St. Louis, but really now, not knowing what tomorrow's going to look like, it's doubly important that he was able to go deep here tonight.
So he should get 2 wins tonight.
He should.
All fly down the right field line. Well, with the wind dying, turned what looked to be a pretty cool night into a very comfortable one. 61 degrees as we got started, and it feels just about that now. Very comfortable conditions. And we'll lead to match it. Schwarber, the top step of the dugout, had to get out of the way.
Seeing a lot of comfortable, aggressive swings from the Cubs here tonight. Just able to let a little air out of the balloon. 5-game losing streak, an extended period where they didn't do much hitting, and a big night like tonight doesn't necessarily, it will get you headed in the right direction.
14 runs on 15 hits.
How well they build on this game tonight will be more directly impacted by tomorrow night's starting pitcher. Wei-Yin Chen will go for the Fish tomorrow night, the left-hander.
Well, that could be interesting if it's Jen Ho-Sang. It could be.
No, I'm wrong. It's Urania tomorrow.
Oh, Urania tomorrow.
Urania tomorrow. Chen on Wednesday.
Sang against Chen would be a matter of two pitchers from Taiwan. So 2 outs, and it's Ian Happ, who has hit 2 homers and knocked in 5 in 4 trips. The Cubs have not reached their season high in runs. They scored 16 at Colorado on April 20th. They have now scored in double digits 6 different times and have scored at least 14 on 3 occasions. They've tied their season high with 4 home runs. Backswing took the mask off Brian Holiday.
Ian has that long follow through. Catchers would be wise to scooch back just a little bit. Of course, they would tell you, yeah, but I might lose my pitcher a strike or 2 if I do that. A pretty good split finger pitch. He likes that against left-handed hitters.
Happy 16th birthday, Jillian Sparks, Bloomington, Illinois. She'll celebrate that birthday later this week. Up. Holiday discards his mask and he makes the grab. Cubs put up 2 more and we'll go to the ninth and probably a Cub debut, Corey Mazzoni, when we return. 14-2.
One Cubs app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Cubs home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB At Bat today.
Cub debut, Corey Mazzoni, former Padre. 14 previous big league appearances with San Diego. And we'll see what he did in AAA Iowa. Replaced Luke Farrell on the active roster tonight. And we'd like to welcome all our viewers streaming the Cubs game on Fubo TV. Thanks for being with us.
One thing that jumps out at you with those AAA numbers for Mazzoni, 12 strikeouts, 1 walk in 11 2/3.
Corey is 28, product of NC State. He's from Harmony, Pennsylvania. That's just north of Pittsburgh. So he and Ian Happ can discuss all things Steelers and Penguins, I guess. Penguins are out.
Yeah.
Capitals eliminated them.
We talk pierogies and the Manny brothers.
And Rivers and Bridges. 2-1.
Slings it up there, a long arm delivery. Slider and a split finger pitch to go along with the fastball.
Prado fouls. It's 2-2 on the veteran third baseman. Cubs will end a 5-game skid, which followed a 5-game winning streak. And they'll cool off the Marlins, who have come in pretty hot, winners of 8 of 11. Nice pick by Bryant, and he'll get it. That's the first out here in the ninth. That's the other part of it for the Cubs here lately. The defense has not been particularly sharp, but they have been tonight.
Yeah, and that was not an easy play.
Yadiel Rivera came in the 7th to play second. Now they say defense shouldn't slump, but I don't know why not. Everything else in the game, you go through peaks and valleys. I guess it's the one area, talking to Joe, he believes that more work helps. Too much batting practice
focus and repetition,
is a problem, but in terms of the fielding stuff, as he chats with Brian Butterfield, more is definitely better. You're not going to be an ace free throw shooter if you don't shoot hundreds of free throws a day.
Yeah, and you have to be diligent too when you're taking your ground balls to use good technique. It's easy to get lazy in your pregame practice to not use good mechanics, and that can lead to some bad habits.
2 quick outs. Justin Bohr will bat.
In case you were wondering, Corey is no relation to the longtime Brave pitching coach Leo Mazzoni. Leo was M-A-Z-Z-O-N-E. I mean, he may be related to him, but I'm assuming not.
Different spelling.
Different
right?
spelling of the name.
Ground ball backhanded by Russell. He looks it in, throws to Caratini. Cubs win. Nice work by Corey Mazzoni in his first Cubs regular season appearance, and even better from Kyle Hendricks, who grabs his 3rd win. 8 innings, allowed 2 runs, and the Cubs backed him with 14 runs, including 2 homers from Ian Happ.
Yeah, it was early and often tonight. A lot of crooked numbers. Cubs, as a matter of fact, they didn't have a single inning where they scored only 1 run tonight. Every scoring inning was a crooked number. They had that 5-0 lead after 3 innings, and at the time you said, well, it feels comfortable, and indeed it was. Hendricks probably would have made the 3 runs stand up here tonight the way he was going along.
The toast of the game is presented by Benny's Beverage Depot. And again, lots of good choices. We're going to go with Ian Happ. 2 homers.
It's been a tough go for Ian, and perhaps a breakout game for him here tonight as he goes deep twice. He punched out twice as well, but you can live with strikeouts when you're hitting the ball out of the ballpark the way he did tonight. Plus a spectacular, albeit not important because of the score of the game, a defensive play out in left field.
And Kelly is on the field for our On the Diamond interview. It's presented by James & Sons Fine Jewelers. Kelly.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Well, Ian, after a week or so of this offense struggling, how good does a night like this, the offense exploding, feel?
It felt awesome. It's always fun watching these guys drive balls out of the ballpark, and to put up 14, that was awesome.
Well, speaking of driving them out, you had 2 tonight and 1 from each side of the plate. What does that mean for you moving forward as you evaluate how the season's gone so far?
That's pretty cool. Second time I've done that in my life, so cool to do in the big leagues. And yeah, just going forward, the approach was pretty good tonight. Put together a few good at-bats, so build on that.
You know, we've talked about the offense a lot this season, the hot, the cold. You guys have all the confidence in the world. You knew this is who you are, but now how do you build on this and keep it going?
No, I think that this team is so talented. It's just this group of guys will have fun. They're going to enjoy it, and it'll keep rolling.
All right, and how do you evaluate the start from Kyle Hendricks tonight? That was pretty fun to watch as well.
Yeah, masterful as always.
Ian, thank you so much for your time. Go celebrate the win, all right?
Yep, thanks.
There you go, guys. Big night from Ian Happ. 2 home runs, drove in 5 tonight as the Cubs win big.
Thank you, Kelly. 4th career 2-homer game for Ian, who will receive a $500 gift card from James & Sons Fine Jewelers. For JD, for Kelly, for Doug, for our entire NBC Sports Chicago crew here at Wrigley Field. Len Casper with your final score. Cubs 14, Marlins 2, and we're right back with you tomorrow night. Authentic Fan Night. Cubs hosting the Marlins in Game 2. Our pregame coverage at 6:30. And coming up next, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois post-game live. Stay tuned.